Okay, so hello everyone. We are meeting one day Hungarian Grand Prix on Hungaroring, and so we are waiting, of course, as always, for the drivers to come in the lobby. So we should start in a minute. So currently 19 drivers on the grid, nearly full lobby, and I see that we are starting, and we will be moving to the Hungary, of course, soon. So Hungaroring, of course, 16 corners. This circuit isn't wide, so the overtaking around this track is quite difficult, but we will of course hope for a really good race here. Oh, Sorry. So yeah, we are waiting to move to Hungary. It's probably the first or the second race here in this league. We didn't race here in season 2, so we are for the first time in F1 2019 for sure. We had F3 race just ahead of this race, and it was quite good, so you may check it later, of course, after this race. And as always, I can also invite you for the tomorrow's race in F1, of course, ERO. We are also racing in Hungary, but now we are for the F2 race, and we are waiting for the drivers to come out on track. It's quite cloudy out there, and I can see just Connie Brett getting out of his pit box, but there I can see also Houseman, who is gonna be the first driver out on track. I see that Toro Rosso has the same strategy as 2 races before. Same was in Italy and in Bahrain. So we will follow Houseman for his lap. Just behind him is Tim Mats, his teammate. McLaren are quite high in the standings. They were fighting for the championship, and they are actually still in contention for the championship at the end of the season. But this race could be crucial because last races weren't good for them. And so let's hope for a good result for them here. Houseman is on hards, same as his teammate. Of course, predicted strategy for this race is medium hards, because the degradation of the tires here is quite high, but we will see which tires are the drivers gonna take for the opening stages of the race. And meanwhile, Houseman is starting his first hot lap. He's going through the main straight, braking into turn 1, tight hairpin, another DRS straight, one of the shortest DRS straights in the calendar. Third corner, of course, another hairpin. Now the fast 4th corner, and now we are going up the hill into the turns 5 and 6. Quite dangerous place, and Houseman makes a mistake, so we will change to Tim Mats, who is just behind him. He's now going through the turn 7. You have to watch out for that curve on the inside there. Now into the chicane, and now into the quite fast but not flat out corners into sector 2. Of course we are there. We are lapping Lupus from the Mercedes, and now we are finishing the second sector into the final section of the track. Still we've got 2 hairpins to go. That's the first one, and now into the second one, the last corner on track. There he goes, DRS wide open, and Tim Mats crosses the line, and he's 1/10 quicker than his teammate. Next to cross the line will be one of the Alphas. It's gonna be Gui. He's also on hards. He runs the final turn, but he didn't want to. He wasn't on 100% throttle there, so his time is the worst now. Brett is in provisional pole at the moment. Just behind him is Champ, who is on softs, and he's slower than Brett on hards, so he had to make some mistakes on his lap. We've got also Dex going onto the provisional pole, and there is also his teammate behind him. Fireshot Ryan goes second, just behind Dex, but there are almost 2 seconds gap between these drivers. So Dex is for sure in contention for pole position here today. Let's see how Paceman is gonna do. Paceman goes second, 2 tenths. No, it's 1 second and 2 tenths to the current leader. We've got also Edzax in P2, 7 tenths behind the Dex. So Dex lap was very good, to be honest. We have also both Mercedes crossing the line. Lupus goes fourth, just ahead of his teammate, but Lupus is also on softs. He's going for another try to beat his current time. Otapa gets into P10 at the moment. He's on the hot lap. Filzo invalidated his lap time. We've got Jim Stroh in second sector. He's in Racing Point, 55.9 after 2 sectors. Now into the last section of the track. 2 hairpins to go. And now last corner. Now the area is wide open and Jim Stroh crosses the line now and he goes into P10. Also both McLarens are improving. They are now in P7 and P8. Are Mercedes drivers improving? No, but just Colin Brett is going for another try. He's on hards. But it's quite a good time on hards for the moment. So we'll see if he can improve. Gui with another lap and he crosses the line, but he improves, but not enough to overtake Otapa in the standings. Vilzo is flying also. Through the third sector he goes. Last 1 corner to go. We've got yellow flag in sector 1. It's one of the Mercedes and also one of the Racing Points in sector 2, and Prime Vilzu goes into P3, 2 tenths behind his teammate Edzax. Edzax, of course, former Toro Rosso driver in F1, my former teammate. Now he switched places with Jure, and he's back in F2. Is anyone on hot lap? I don't think so, but Tex is going for another try on softs. He has got a 7 tenths advantage above Edzax, who is in second. So it's a really nice time. He has the pace around this track. Is Gui improving again? No, he isn't. We've got Natik going on to his first lap. Going into turn 1. Now through turn 2. Of course, it's this little king is the turn 2 on this track. Turn 3, of course, also you have to watch out on the curb on the inside. Another fast right-hander. Up the hill, of course, 27.8. Here, this curb is gonna be dangerous in this race. But Natik isn't pushing too hard, so I don't think that it's gonna be a good time. Our current pole sitter is on a hot lap, but he's also going slowly. Jump invalidation. Gui is probably gonna dive into the pits. Natik is in the third sector, last corner, and now he crosses the line now and gets in front of his teammate, but Gui also improves, and we've got two alphas at the back at the moment. We are still waiting for Jair and Lopez to make their laps. Lopez is actually on a hot lap, so we'll follow him. And as I said to you, both Torrosos are out, so both Libanov and Voitinho are gonna start from the back of the grid. Same strategy as in the two previous races. Edzax is going for another try to beat Dex for the P1. He's improving by 8/100ths of a second after sector 1. There we got Otapa, who spun on this curb probably. Edzax quite aggressive through these curbs. He's pushing, and it looks like that it was too much because he clipped too much curb there, but he's improving still. Into the last section of the track, 2 hairpins to go. Of course, the first one quite wide there, and now last turn also quite wide, so we may see another try here for another lap, but Edzax is improving now, so that wasn't enough. Let's switch to his teammate, Prime Vilzu. He may do better. We had also Lopez going into P11 at the moment, but Prime Vilzu, I can see there is an invalidation. Pacefen who is spinning on the chicane. There was a chance for improvement, but not quite. Hausen is improving, and he switched to mediums, so he's now in P6. His teammate invalidated his lap, so he's gonna try another time to make a lap. And so Prime Vilzu is still going, but he has invalidated his lap. So is there anyone on a hot lap? Otapa would be, but he invalidated his lap. Natik is pushing. He's in the last sector. He's currently in dead last, but it may change. DRS wide open, and he crosses the line now, and he goes into P7. So currently the fastest lap on hards, yes it is. So nice time for Natik. Team Mats, is he going for another try here? He's on mediums at the moment, but he's not going that aggressive through these curves as we saw by Edzax. So now last corner in sector 2, and now nearly half a second of improvement, so it may give him the position just behind his teammate. Let's see how is gonna be the last sector for the McLaren driver. And so last corner, and now DRS, not enough ERS, but it's still enough to jump ahead of his teammates. So we've got teammates ahead of Hausman at the moment. Did Vilzu improve? I think so. That he jumped his teammate and he's now in P2. So it looks like a nice battle for the victory today. We will see during the race. Is Otapa still pushing? No, he isn't. Hausman actually with another lap, and he's improving, and he gets into P5 ahead of Pacefen. So McLarens are on charge. Gui is also on a hot lap. He's improving by 2 tenths after first sector. Houseman retired, so he won't improve now. Still 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Sorry. Now Gui is going through these quite fast corners. You have to get a nice flow through there to go smooth through these corners. Gui is improving by 7 tenths. Let's see how is it gonna look after the last sector. Now around the final corner, and now onto the start finish straight he goes, and Gui gets into P8, so 1/10 faster than his teammate Natik. And we are still waiting for drivers to come out on their last laps. Ginstro has also retired on this curb in turn 7, or actually ahead of it, so on the curb of turn 6, actually on the outside of that turn. So the first I'm missing the word. The first driver crashed in the qualifying. The first victim, oh, that's the word, okay. Sorry. Gui has also retired. Fireshot Ryan is going still through the second sector. Is he improving? Yes, he is by 6 tenths. And it will give him a place inside the top 10. So now two corners to go. And now last corner, he is missing the ERS, but he still has a lap to do, and now he crosses the line and he goes into P4. So Renault could be happy now by this qualifying session. Champ, where is Champ? He's in sector 1. Jair is also starting finally his lap. He's currently in P17, but he hasn't got the time yet. Who is the closest one to cross the line? It's Paceman, but he's starting. Brad is in sector 2, and he's improving by over a second. Now let's see if Prime Vilzo will disturb him. Fortunately no. Now 2 corners to go. Just Call Me Brad, currently in P11. Let's see if he can match his teammate's pace. And now he crosses the line and he gets into P3. So ahead of his teammate. Nice time indeed. There we've got many drivers crossing the line. Otapa is starting his lap. Champ is improving, he gets into P9. Natik has also started his lap. We've got our pole sitter, or actually no, he's pushing at the moment. So we've got Lopez getting ahead of his teammate into P14. Jair gets into P11. Many drivers are retiring from the session. Lupus is also improving. Let's see if he can jump ahead of his teammate. Last corners, last 2 hairpins. Number 2 on his engine. And now quite wide there, quite a little bit slide there. Now he's crossing the line, and it's not enough to jump ahead of anyone. So Lupus stays in 6th. Dex is our pole sitter, currently is crossing the line, and he is improving still by 2 tenths. So fantastic time for the Renault driver, and Edzax is also crossing the line now and jumps ahead of Vilzu. And so the fight for pole position is done now. I think so. Natik gets into P6 still, and we are still waiting for the 2 drivers. but they are not on their hot laps, so that's the end of qualifying, I guess. And so Dex, fantastic lap there, 7/10 of advantage ahead of Edzax. So this lap was magnificent. Then behind Edzax we've got his teammate Filzu, then Brett in P4, then we've got Dex's teammate Fireshot Ryan in 5th, in 6th we've got Natik, who is gonna start on mediums, then Lupus, Otapa in P8, so we've got Haas in top 10, and Houseman and Pacefen are closing the top 10, and then ahead of top 10 we've got, outside of the top 10 on P11 we've got Champ, who is gonna start on fresh mediums probably, but we will see during the formation lap. So here are the official standings of this qualifying session. So Dex, Edzax and Vilzu, who are gonna start on softs, then Brett, Fireshot Ryan and Natik on mediums, and Pacefen on softs. And the rest of the grid: Champ, Timats, Jair, Gui, Lopez, Jimstrow, and both Toro Rossos, Libenov and Voitinho without time are gonna have the free choice of the tires during the race. So here we are for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's the weather is better. I'm rapping now, so the weather is better during the race, and so it's hotter, so it's quite nice. I don't know what to say, so I'm talking about what I see. And so we are starting here. So Dex, of course, in pole position, just behind him is Vilzu actually, because Edzax is next to him. And so let's see what are the tires that drivers outside the top 10 choose. So Champ on hards, so the reversed strategy in the Ferrari. Then Timats on mediums, same as Jair, Gui, Lopez, Jimstrow and Lipenov. Because Toro Rosso both and Voitinho is on hards, Toro Rosso is reversing the strategy for the pole. And so let's see how is gonna the race go for these two drivers, because this strategy worked in Italy and they were going on quite high positions, at least to the time that it started training, because Libenov was actually going for a podium or quite close to the podium, and it finished that Voitinho was in P5, if I remember correctly. And so we will see, because in Bahrain it wasn't the best strategy, but it worked again and they got some points. And so now drivers are closing to the to their starting spots. And so how is gonna Dex do? His qualifying was awesome, and he's probably hoping for such good race. So now drivers are lining up. And we should see the red lights going out. It's the beautiful angle. I can see everything from there. So here are the red lights, 5 red lights, and away we go. I can't see anything. Okay, so Edzax gets an excellent start. He's side by side with Dex at the moment. They are free wide to the turn 1, and so Dex maintains his lead. Vilzu jumps ahead of Edzax. Is there any carnage in turn 1? Both Ferraris are fighting each other, but it's F1 Champ who is ahead of Pacefan. And there's also Natik losing places because he's going slow. I don't know why. Brett is also losing positions. Wojtinho spun. Oh no, it's not Wojtinho, it's Lopez actually. And so through the 4th corner they go. No carnage in that corner. And so here we are. So any changes in the top? We've got only Vilzu who overtaken Edzax. There is Fire Tryon close to the Red Bull driver, and we may see some attack there. Fire Tryon is on mediums actually, so nice start for him. He maintained his position, and so around the penultimate corner they go, and Fire Tryon makes a move down the inside on the penultimate corner on Edzax. Nice move there. So he's faster. Renaults are faster around this track, and so any attacks there? Maybe Brett down the inside on Pacefan. Not quite, not now. I'm back. Sorry. And so, any changes here? I don't think so. Pacefan is pushing his, putting pressure on Houseman, and also look on the start of Champ, because he got up to P7 from P11. We had also Lupus making mistake in turn 6. There is also Libano close to Natik. Into the chicane they go. Through these corners. Jair has led the session, unfortunately. We lost him after the first lap of the race. So it wasn't the best start for the Williams driver, the only Williams on the grid today. And so we've got Lupus making mistake in this corner, and he has no front wing, so he has to box. I don't know what happened there. Was there any contact? And we've got a VSC on track, and so Lupus is going into the pits, and he has to change his front wing, unfortunately. And so Dex is getting away. He has got a 3-second advantage on Prime Vilzu, and Fire Tryon is just behind the Red Bull. So both Renaults are flying actually, because let's see the positions gained. Fire Tryon gained 2 positions. Champ gained 5 positions. So nice job for their Ferrari. Brett is also chasing down pace, and Brett lost 5 positions on start, but he's on mediums, so that's understandable. Natik, for example, lost 6 positions, and Lupus lost 8 positions because of the pit stop. So we have a battle between Ferrari and Mercedes here for P8, and we may see also a switch between Fire Tryon and Vilzu. Fire Tryon has got the DRS into turn 1, but Vilzu covers the inside line, and he maintains his second position. He pushes Fire Tryon wide, and so no overtaking here. and so Verstappen has to stay behind Red Bull, and we've got Paceman all getting overtaken by Brett into turn 3, and there is also battle between Team Mats and Natik. Turn 5 now, turn 6. So Champ close to Otapa. He's chasing down the Haas. Champ is on hard, so his pace is also quite good on these tires. He's just behind the Haas, but it's also a nice start for Otapa. 3 positions up, and now is he gonna send it? No. He's gonna wait to the start-finish straight. Now the penultimate corner, and we've got a switch. Verstappen overtakes Vilzu into the last corner, but now we are switching to Champ versus Otapa. Very nice camera angle, and so that's gonna be all. Champ overtakes the Haas, and we just makes a dive bomb into turn 1, and so 2 positions gained for Mercedes. And now Otapa made fight back on Champ, but not quite. He wanted to go down the inside on Ferrari. There was also Houseman at the back watching it. So just calling Brett, fantastic move. There are many drivers just behind each other, and so it's like a beautiful snake from the cars. And so through the second sector they go. I don't think that we will see any switches here, but maybe we wanted to go around the outside on Paceman here. Paceman goes wide in this corner. And now Libanov is switching places with Natik. They are fighting side by side into the turn 15, but Natik has got inside line, so he maintains his 11th position, but Natik hasn't got the full front wing, so Libanov is gonna probably overtake the Alpha, or maybe no. They both have DRS, but Libanov can't quite do it. But there is Wojtinho at the back overtaking Team Mats, and gets into the back of his teammate, and so he's gonna lose many positions, but there is still fight between Libanov and Natik. Natik stays behind Libanov, but there is also Team Mats going around the outside in turn 3 and down the inside on in turn 4 on Natik. So nice move for the McLaren. Also Wojtinho gains a position on Alpha. So Natik lost many positions here. We had also Edzax going into the pits. He got out of the pits in P14, and so 2 Renaults in 2 first places. So very nice job for them. Cyril will be happy. Now we got still a battle between Gui, Paceman and Otapa. And also Libanov may join this battle, and now Libanov was very late on the brakes, and he nearly touched the back of Gui, and he's now fighting with Team Mats. They're going side by side through the last corner. Now onto the starting straight they go, DRS in both cars, and there is also battle between Gui and Paceman. Gui goes down the inside on the Ferrari. Ferrari has got damage on the front wing. And so Gui gets this 6th place, and also Libanov gains the position. But Paceman may fight back, but not quite. And so there is also Team Mats who is counting on the position here. They're going up the hill. So no positions. Team Mats didn't want to risk. We had some drivers in the pits. So Team Mats still at the back of Paceman. Paceman is on softs, so these softs aren't working well now. We are in lap 7 of this race, and Timmats touches the Ferrari at the back. He has to wait now. He shouldn't attack here because he's faster, and Paceman dives into the pits. So that's enough. And so we will see a fight between Gui and Libenov. Libenov is closing, he has got DRS and no attacks there. Now around the first corner, but Gui gets a better exit out of this turn. We also had Vilzu in the pits, and he's now fighting with his teammate. And now Edzak's made a switchback, and now they are still side by side into turn 3. But Vilzu stays in front. So we will see also Dex going for his stop soon, because he's on softs, and Fireshot Ryan is just at his gearbox. So Fireshot Ryan has a pace to actually win this race. We've got a fight for a lead at the moment. Is Dex gonna pit now? No, he isn't, so he's staying out for another lap. And so onto the starting straight they go. Dex makes a mistake, he goes wide at the exit. And now Fireshot Ryan is gaining, he has got DRS of course. And into turn 1 they go, and so Fireshot Ryan gets the first position in this race. So we've got a lead change here. Just Colin Brett is also pushing behind these two Renaults. He got the fastest lap. And we've got also Libenov finally overtaking Gui. So he was waiting for 2 laps to make this move. Lupus is in the pits for the second time, and another switch of the front wing. Vitinha is also close to the Jimstro. We've got Dex making a mistake on the curb in turn 7. So he should have pitted, but he made a mistake and he has got damage on his front wing, so he's gonna lose much time to change it, and he's now letting Hausman by. Oh, he should have pitted, and it was a mistake. It was a silly mistake probably, but yes, the race is still long, 25 laps to go, so there is still chance to get to the end and gain some points there. We've got Gui also wanting to retake these positions from Libenov. One position. And Dex gets also a 5-second time penalty. Unfortunately, it's getting worse and worse for him. Gui couldn't quite attack the Toro Rosso into turn 1, but now he still has got DRS, and into turn 3 they go. Gui has got the outside line, and now around the outside he goes, and now he has got the inside line into turn 4, and now he gets this 6 position for Libenov. He pushes him wide there, but fortunately no contact there and no damage. So Gui gets this position back, and we've got a free car battle for this position at the moment, because Timmats is also at the back of them. We've got also Dex overtaking Paceman, and Lupus, no, it's not Lupus, it's Natikos actually, close to the Ferrari. So let's switch to this battle. Free car battle for P5 actually. And now onto the start-finish straight they go, and both Libenov and Timmats are gonna have the DRS. So no switches there, sorry for this. Libenov goes around wanted to go around the outside on Gui, but Gui defended excellent. around the third corner, and so Lipanov nearly made a mistake on that curb, but he's still pushing. Timats nearly got into the back of Toro Rosso because he missed his braking point. And so they are going now through the S's and into the third sector. We've got also fight between Jimstrow and Dex, but they are at the back of the grid at the moment. Dex is gonna try to fight back after his mistake on lap 8, I think. Lopez is out of the session. So he made a mistake on the turn 6 on these curbs, and he spun probably, and he lost his wheel. And we've got a VSC again, the second VSC in this race. And now the drivers have to follow the delta. And so at the moment we've got Fire Ryan, of course, leading this race. F1 Champ has led the session and he's in P3 at the moment, so unfortunately, and he's out for sure, not for a moment, and he's not gonna be happy. Unfortunately for him, he was doing so well, he had an excellent start and he was going in P3, and he's now out of the contention for the victory. So Libanov still wants to fight back on GUI. They are still fighting. He's gonna have another chance after this turn, but he has to get an excellent exit. And now he's going on to the stack on the starting straight, and now he has got the slipstream and DRS, but it's not enough when Gui makes a mistake. He slides through this first corner to overtake the Alpha. And so Dex also is gonna try to overtake Jimstrow. Champ has joined, fortunately for him, and he's now back for contention for the podium. Also Dex overtakes the Racing Point finally, and he has to go for a long way back to the points even. But maybe he can fight back, maybe some safety car can make his race better. He's now chasing down Voitinho. Is Champ going now? No, but he has joined the session, but he still goes, and it's not a good information for the Ferrari, but it's good information for everybody else. Libanov is too far from GUI again to attack, same as Team Mats. Dex is gonna try and move on Voitinho on the start-finish straight probably. Team Mats is of course overtaking Champ, unfortunately. And so now they are going on to the start-finish straight, and who has the better exit? I think it was Voitinho, but Dex has got DRS and he may close to the Toro Rosso. Now around the first corner they go. DRS again enabled, but it's not enough maybe on the next lap. And now still GUI is fighting with Libanov for the P4. And so Fire Ryan is still maintaining his lead, 2 seconds ahead of Brett. Hausman is losing 12 seconds now to the Mercedes. And then we've got of course the 4-car battle for P4, because Vilzu has joined this battle. He had a box already, the same as Edzax, who is overtaking Champ, and so both Red Bulls are on a charge. And now Vilzu is trying to attack Timats down the inside on turn 1. Nice move there. But Timats may fight back. They are going side by side still. Timats made a beautiful switchback. But now Vilzu has got the inside line through this turn, and he gets the position from the McLaren driver. And so he's gonna now try to overtake these two ahead of him. Meanwhile, Libanov has also overtaken Gui for the 4th position, and Dex is closing in on Voitinho, but not enough. And so they are still there are still 4-car battle for the race and for the 4th place, and our leader Fireshot Ryan is in the pits. So we've got a lead change again. We had also a change here because Vilzu overtook Gui, and same Libanov and Hausman are going into the pits. So they are trying an undercut. And there we got Timats close to Gui. He has got the slipstream, and they are going just next to Fireshot Ryan. Timats wanted to go around the outside, and he may do it still, but not quite. And Gui still maintains his position, and they are now up into P3. F1 Champ is still trying to join, but he's still ghosting. So unfortunately. And now Timats is at the back of Gui. He's really close, but he can't quite do it. And there is also Fireshot Ryan, who is just after his pit stop, and he's gonna try to overtake both of them. And so we've got Just Call Me Brad in the lead at the moment, and let's see if he is gonna pit now. Yes, he is. So it's gonna be Vilzu who is gonna take the lead. And there we still have got a 3-car battle for P3. So into the 3rd sector they go. Last section of the track. Timats again close to touch Gui in the back, but Gui is diving into the pits, and so Timats is left 1-to-1 with Fireshot Ryan, who wants to make a move down the inside into this hairpin. There was just enough place for the car. And Timats shows his frustration on Fireshot Ryan, and they are touching again, and Fireshot Ryan manages to gain this position on McLaren. And there's also Just Call Me Brad, who came out of his pits just behind Timats, and he has nearly joined this 2-car battle for the P2. And so let's see how long Timats is gonna be in front of Brad. Brad was going in P2 before his pit stop. Now he's down in P4, so he's still in contention for the victory, especially that he's closer to Fireshot Ryan now than he was before his pit stop, but he has to get past Timats now, or as fast as possible, to still have a chance to fight with the Renault. Timats goes into the pits, so it's Just Call Me Brad versus Fireshot Ryan, and they are 3 seconds off to Vilzu, but Vilzu has got 1 stop to go, and they are going to the end. So we will see a battle between Renault and Mercedes for the victory. There are still 18 laps to go, and we've got also Edzax for the 2nd time in the pits. So yes, Voitinho may gain a position here on Edzax, but he's too far to make it stick. But he has got a DRS, and maybe down the inside, not quite. Oh, he got onto this curb. It was dangerous. He is really easy to spin on this curb, and the jump is back actually. So fortunately, but he has got a gap to pit, and he lost many seconds here. There is also Libanov at the back of him, and Libanov is actually chasing, and he may have a chance to the podium, maybe even, because both Champ and Virzu has to pit, and Hausmann isn't that far. Just calling Brett with the fastest lap of the race, and he's closing in on Fireshot Ryan. It's under the second now. Okay, I'm gonna put the tires. Here are the tires. Nearly everyone are on hards. It's only Vilzu, Otapa, Edzax and Wojtinho who are on mediums at the moment. And we have a fight between Edzax and Dex. Edzax overtook Dex. They were fighting for the lead in the past, but now they are fighting for the one single point, because Dex made a mistake and Edzax has got the strategy on 2 stops. And there we've still got a fight between Otapa Gui and Team Mats. They are still close to each other. And there is also Just Call Me Brett really close to Fireshot Ryan, and we may see some moves here into turn 3. But Brett gets a very bad exit, and he nearly spins on this curb, and he has got damage on his front wing. Unfortunately for the Mercedes, I switched to him and he made a mistake. What a shame for him, and Gui makes a move on Otapa around the outside maybe, but Haas driver defends his position now, but he can't defend now because Gui gets a fly on this straight, and so Gui is now in P7, and Timotz has to pass the Haas to think of overtaking the Alpha, but there is also Edzax still pushing behind them, and same as Dex, our pole sitter, and the top of a 3-second time penalty. And so 5 drivers fighting for the P7 for 6 points, and now they are gonna closing to the starting straight, and we've got Just Call Me Brett in the pits. Unfortunately his damage was quite big, and Lopez is out of the session. He was out of contention. And so we have also a battle between Champ and Hausmann into turn 1. Champ attacks, down the inside he goes, and he gets this position. That's interesting that F1 Champ has got the pace to overtake Hausmann, who is on fresher tires. There we saw a Haas of Lopez, and there is also Libanov really close to McLaren. And let's see how is this battle going. Edzax is overtaking Team Mats. So Edzax is gaining another position. He's now up into P8, and he's now chasing down Otapa and Gui. And so Libanov is also counting on Hausmann mistakes. But this is not the place to make a move. There is still 14 laps to go. Vizu is still leading the race, 2 seconds ahead Fireshot Ryan. And so there we also got a fight between Otapa and Edzax. Otapa is trying to defend, but Edzax is much faster, and Otapa still has got a gap to pit. And there is also Dex at the back of Team Mats, who is trying to make a move. Libanov is also close to Hausmann. He may make a move here. It's the fight for P4, and Libanov goes down the inside on the McLaren and he gets the job done. Yes, he is. So now Toro Rosso is ahead of McLaren, and same as Edzax overtakes Otapa. And so they are still close and they are fighting still. Dex is trying to get more than 1 point here. He has to go to the end on these tires. It's not gonna be easy, but he has to try. He was easily leading the race, but unfortunately one single mistake made him falling down outside the points, and we've got a lead change because Vilzu gets into the pits, and so Fireshot Ryan is now left alone to finish this race in P1. Massive advantage on any other driver, and these are 13 laps to go. Also Champ is going into the pits, so he's now gonna be chasing and he's gonna try to gain what he lost on his connection lost. And there is also Dex trying to overtake T-Mats. Down the inside he goes and he gets this 7th position. So Dex is still recovering and it's going quite well for him. T-Mats can't quite fight back here, but he's still gonna stay behind Dex and he's gonna count on his mistakes. Just like this one, because Dex gets a 3-second time penalty. Let's see, because Libanov is actually 14 places up and he's now going to the end on these tires, and he's quite comfortable where he is, and he's still close to Vilzu, but Vilzu has got the fresher tires. But it's still a really nice try for the Toro Rosso driver, and if he wouldn't have many penalties, he may finish in this position, because Hausman can't quite get close to him, and there is only Going who's pushing, and also Edzax, who is now overtaking the Alpha around the outside in turn 1, and he gets the job done. And he's now gonna chase Hausman for P4. Made a mistake probably, or something on the curb, and there is also Wojtyła trying to overtake Otapa. They are fighting for the P14, and Wojtyła gets a DRS on this first DRS zone, and he's trying to go around the outside on the Haas. Now he has got the inside line, but he can't quite do it. Otapa is defending brilliantly from this whole race, and so Otapa stays ahead Toro Rosso. So Wojtyła hasn't got pace around this track. That's interesting that Libanov has got the pace and he's fighting for a podium here. And so there are still 10 laps to go in this race. Now close fights on this track, but T-Mat is closing to Dex. He's trying to retake this 7th place. There is also a change between Jimstrom and Champ. Champ is trying to fight back after his connection lost probably or something, but he's now down in P12 and he's a long way from the points. Next up is his teammate Pacefan, and then after Pacefan he has got a 4-second gap to get any points here. Wojtyła finally overtakes Otapa, or not quite, because they are going side by side up the hill into turn 5. They go side by side still, and Wojtyła around the outside. Fantastic move. he risked everything here, but he didn't have much to lose, but actually made it stick, and he's now ahead of the Haas. So that was fantastic. That was fantastic. That was the best move of this race, that's for sure. And so now Dex chasing down Gui. He's trying to retake the points which he lost. But he can't quite do it because Gui is too far. He actually has got Gui has got fresher tires by 7 laps. So because Dex has pitted on lap 10 probably, if I remember correctly. We've got also a fight between Champ and Sven, Pace Sven. Champ has closed to him because he has got much fresher tires, and he has to push if he wants any points here. So now will we see any team orders here? Yes, we can see that Paceman is letting Champ by. We also could see that how much faster Champ was through these S's. So Champ has got a chance to gain any points here because he's 4 seconds off from Natik. But he has got still 8 laps to go. So he still has got a chance to actually gain some points here. And so meanwhile Dex is still trying to get past Gui, but he hasn't got that much pace to do it. We've got also Brett at the back of Team Mats. He's also trying to gain this 8th position. And so through the S's, we can see that Brett is much faster than the McLaren, and now he cuts this corner and he gets a 3-second time penalty, but he's still at the back of Team Mats, and we should see a move on the start finish straight. I thought that he's gonna send it here, but he didn't do anything silly, and now around the last corner they go onto the start finish straight, and Brett is gonna have the DRS. Team Mats hasn't got the DRS, and Brett is gonna and also Dex is trying to overtake Gui, and he gets the job done, same as Brett, but Brett missed the braking point, and so Team Mats stays in front for another lap, and Gui isn't gonna fight back on Dex, so Dex stays in 6th, and let's see if he has got the pace to maybe get out of the DRS range from Gui. Brett, after his mistake, he's another time close to Team Mats. Team Mats makes a mistake on the exit of this chicane, and it is probably frustrating Brett that he can't pass the McLaren. We can see that he's flying through these S's, and now maybe into this hairpin, no, but now he has to do it now on the start finish straight. Now they are going round the final corner, and just Colin Brett has got the DRS. They're going side by side into turn 1, and Brett has got the inside line, and he gets this position finally, and so he's now gonna be chasing Gui. We've got also Paceman into the pits for the change on softs, and he's gonna be fighting for the fastest lap of this race. Team Mats if he can stay in the DRS range of Brett, he may defend his 9th position, but we can see Natik is pushing behind them, but his tires are quite old, 22 laps on these tires, but Jimstrow has 27 laps on his tires, so that's interesting. And he's going in P12, and so no close battles around this track at the moment, so we may show the current leader, Fireshot Ryan, who is 16 seconds ahead of any other driver. It's Prime Vilzu, and he's comfortably going for the victory here today in the Hungaroring. So it's the day of Renaults, because the pole position belonged to Dex, and Fireshot Ryan is comfortably going for the victory here. Edzax is also close to Houseman. They will be fighting for P4, and Houseman still wants to gain this position on Libenov. Libenov is also has also got a really good race. His teammates make a mistake. He lost positions, unfortunately, so he probably made a mistake somewhere in the chicane or in turn 7. And there is also Natik getting overtaken by Champ in this turn, so Champ is now in the points. He was in the pits, but now he's in the points. He's got 2 points at the moment, 9th position for him, and he's 3 seconds behind Brett. And we've got the yellow flag. It's Pacefan. Yes, it is. He was trying to get a fastest lap of the race, but unfortunately he spun on the curb in this turn, and he's now getting lapped by Fireshot Ryan. So shame for Pacefan. He's a long way from anybody else, and he won't have fastest lap here because he spins another time. I'm not gonna show him. And so we got also Gui trying to get past Brett in the second sector. There they are, but there is still fight for the P3 between Libenov, Houseman and Edzax. Both drivers are in DRS range. And there is also Pacefan ahead of them, who is getting lapped, unfortunately. And so Libenov is finally closing in on Libenov, and he's gonna have a DRS behind Toro Rosso, and now they are going on to the DRS straight. But we won't see any changes here. There are still 4 laps to go. Gui also can't get past Brett, and Timmats is trying to get his points because he lost them after his mistake somewhere in sector 2. He's closing in on Natik. He has got fresher tires, so he can push more than Natik through this turn, for example. And so Jimstrow with the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.2 in a force, of course, racing points, sorry. And so we still have got the fight for the podium, but now it's Edzax who is closer to Houseman than Houseman is closer to Libenov, and I'm quite sure that we will see some switches here into turn 1. So now they are coming out on this straight. I think I was wrong, and we won't see any switches here. So Edzax stays behind Houseman. He has got 2 more chances. into this turn. Now Edzax was quite late on the brakes into turn 3. There is also Champ who is chasing down GUI. Champ who is recovering from his disconnection is now fighting for P8 and for 4 points. Here he's going really carefully through the 7th corner, 7th turn actually. So Edzax is still trying to get past Houseman. They're going into the 3rd sector. Otapa with a 3-second time penalty. And so maybe now Dex is also closing on this pack, and Dex he still may gain a podium, but it's gonna be really difficult. And so no switches here. But Edzax is close to Houseman, but not close enough to attack again. So they are gonna have one more chance, and it's gonna be the last chance to pass anyone. Pacefan gets a fast lap, 1:18.0, and so it's now the Ferrari who gets the fastest lap of the race. There is also Libanov under pressure of Houseman. Libanov is still defending his podium here. He has got one more lap to go, and Rosso will be really happy. With this podium. Their season was really good to this time. They are getting many points in, to be honest, every race, and now they are going for the last one time onto this DRS straight. Is anyone close enough to attack? We will see. Edzax is closing in on Houseman, and he's probably the closest one to gain a position here, but not quite here. Maybe into turn 3. But Edzax hasn't got good exit out of this turn, so he stays in P5. And also there is Champ fighting with GUI. They are going side by side into turn 3, and Champ has got the inside line, so he's gonna get this 8th position. Recovery quite good for Champ, 4 points now. So we'll now switch to this battle. But Edzax makes a mistake into this chicane, and Dex may gain a position on it, but not quite. He stays behind the Red Bull, and so Ferrari Ryan rounds the final corner of this race. Best strategy, best pace in this race, and he wins the Hungarian Grand Prix in ERO in F2 in Season 3. Prime Vilzu is gonna come home in 2nd place. There is a fight between Dex and Edzax, but I don't think we will see any switches here, so Vilzu gets into P2 in this race. Libanov is gonna come home in P3, but is he gonna stay in this place? No, because Houseman gets the P3, and Libanov finishes this race in P4. Just behind him is Edzax, and it's F1 Champ who gets into P6, but not quite, because Nati gets into P6, and he gets the 8 points. F1 Champ in P7, still quite nice recovery. Dex, unfortunately, only P8 for him from the pole position, but only one mistake during this race, and 7 positions down. Then we've got GUI in P9, and Team Mats is closing the top 10. Then we've got, of course, Brett just outside the points, and the rest of the grid is gonna be shown in a minute. So here you can see your podium finishers. Fireshot Ryan and Renault finally wins a race here in our league. So Hungarian Grand Prix, both pole position and race victory for the French team. Second place, of course. So the three teams that are fighting for the championship, and there is also Ferrari, but it wasn't the best weekend for them. And so here are the official standings of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And so Fireshot Ryan, of course, in the first place, Vilzu in second, Hawson in third, and then Libanov, Edzaks, Natik, Champ, Dex, Gui and Timats closing the top 10. And then outside the top 10, Brett, Wojtinho in P12, Otapa, Jim Stroh and Paceman in last place, but he gets the fastest lap of the race, so this 1 point belongs to him. And the non-finishers were Lopez, Lupus and Jair. So yes, that's all for today here in ERO. I'm inviting you as always for for tomorrow's race in F1. We are also racing in Hungary, and see you next week for the round 2 in ERO in season 3. This season is gonna be fantastic, and we are closing to the last races of it. So follow us everywhere you can, so Facebook, YouTube, and join our Discord if you want. And so that's all for today, and goodbye.